J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drinking be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitches, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
Rapscallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. Rapscallions.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 34. 3-4 is a big one. We've got some excellent topics here. Point 5 of the Rapscallions, Joe Mesquita, is right next to me. I'm HB Tui. And today we're going to talk about the world of DC Comics. Check out that animated GIF down here, that amazing artwork. We're going to talk. We have so much to talk about. Joe's got all of his DC regalia on. So let's get started. Joe, how are you doing?
What's up, HB? Happy to be here. I don't have all of my DC regalia, actually. In preparation for this show, I realized I have much more from the DC Comics realm than I do from the Marvel Comics, which was a bit disappointed because whenever people ask me, like, which is your favorite comic book company, I really don't know because I want to think I love both of them the same. But, you know, today I'm wearing my Shazam shirt and my Red Hood hat.
You know, in preparation for this show, I think I might have to say that I think maybe you may be more DC than Marvel. I'm not trying to make fun. It's just my gut feeling of, you know, your knowledge of history and how much you like each one and whatnot.
I don't know. The thing is, I relate to different characters for a different reason. So, like, different characters in each company, right? Like, say, in DC Comics, I love Superman. But I think the character I love the most is probably Nightwing, who, as many people will know, was Batman's first Robin, who grew up to become his own man. And, you know, growing up, I saw myself as Robin.
Sure.
So then maybe that's why I can relate with Dick Grayson. And then, you know, I don't know. I have a Nightwing hat too, but I'm not wearing
your amazing acrobatic skills.
I do. I can do several backflips. I will gladly do them later.
Circus too, didn't you?
I did. The amazing mosquitoes is what they called us. You know, we traveled all around Central America performing in the circus, and yeah, it was fabulous.
You rode on the back of an elephant and did flips and stuff. If I'm not
mistaken. I did. We used to do this thing, right, where we would set up 20 elephants. Wow. And then I would do 20 backflips consecutively from elephant to elephant to elephant. And then I would land on the head of a giraffe and I would slide down its neck like if it was a slip and slide, and I would land in a swimming pool.
We're gonna talk to we get the research department to pull a footage of that. I think they're gonna be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it was good times.
I love it. So, you know, before we get too entrenched into the history of DC,
yes,
we got to do the Rapping with Rapscallions weekly wrap up. Say that 10 times fast.
We do.
We're gonna
Rapscallions weekly wrap up.
For sure, you nailed it, man. It's those rapping skills. So, you know, tell us about your week, Joe. How did it go for you?
My week, man. My week has been all right. We did I told you that I've been watching the entire Rocky series with Kelly. So we started on Rocky 1, the first Rocky, and we finished last night with Creed 2. I think, you know, I've gotten a greater appreciation for Rocky. You know, I think the character is so much more than just a muscle-bound meathead. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a guy with depth. This is an innocent guy. He's a genuine, good human being, man. So I really enjoyed seeing his character develop throughout the years, and just seeing how, I think in the first Creed, how life really has taken its toll on him, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's an excellent movie.
Cool. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. And then other than that, just doing the work stuff. Oh, I went to Price Smart and I got this amazing Price Smart whiskey. Let me show it to you because it's really great. Here it is. For those of you that have never seen it before, check this out. Price Smart blended Scotch whiskey. And the best thing is it has a cork top.
That's classy, dude.
That is super classy. Super classy. So,
and if you guys out there who want to know more about whiskey, scroll down. We got a show dedicated to whiskey.
That is right. That is correct. So yeah, that was my week, man. Looking forward to today. Today's very exciting about the show. But yeah, I mean, all good, I guess, thankfully, considering everything that's going on. How about you, man? How's your week been over there in the countryside?
Well, it's been hot. I've been keeping up. Been doing a lot more exercise, so that's good. We're one step closer to getting the merch up and running because we got, rapscallions, the fam scallions, they're all over the place. And so not one, but two t-shirt companies are going to have some of our merch. The official site, which we'll launch later on, and then a collaboration with another friend. We'll get those up to you soon and publish them. You guys will be able to purchase all kinds of wonderful merch. So that's fun. We're also one step closer to publishing. We're going to open up a website just for the rapscallions where it's all centralized. And we can send you there to those links. And that way people aren't looking around for YouTube and Facebook and
SoundCloud and
Instagram. Yeah, some people are like, I don't have Facebook or I don't have YouTube, And I was like, so as you know, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook Live, we're on the Mars rover. Big fan of the rapscallions. And soon we're going to have our own web page, so you can just type it in and then watch it from there. No more excuses. No more excuses.
It'll have links to everything.
For everywhere. Our merch, and then you can leave us questions, ask a rapscallion. It's going to be a big feature.
That's right.
So that's what I was working on this week. And Joe and I have something cooking. We're not ready to lift the lids on that, but rapscallions is going to have a big year 2021, guaranteed.
No doubt.
As far as personally, yesterday I busted out the grill. It's full on summertime.
No doubt.
Feast, brother. I did a nice punto de palomilla over leña wood. Delicious. And then I tried something new that I hadn't done before. Like, of course, you're grilling veggies. I grilled some broccoli.
Yeah.
I did some portobello mushrooms with some Swiss cheese in it.
Ooh.
But the new thing, which I think you're going to like, and I think everyone out there is going to like, is I grilled chayote.
What?
Yeah, man. I sliced it into like thick slices, and I just threw it on the grill, salt, olive oil. And then as soon as it got soft and had some nice grilling on it, I squeezed some lemon on it. It's surprisingly sweet. It's like sweet. It has like a little touch of honey to it. It's all natural, baby.
Oh, that sounds amazing, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you have to drop a cookbook soon.
That's right. Cooking with rapscallions.
No doubt, man. It just flows so well.
If you guys want to see cooking videos, let us know. We'll make little videos for you in case you want to learn how to make some type of Panamanian cuisine. Let us know. I can post the ceviche one that I did last year. That might help you out.
Totally, man. Hey, we cook a lot of stuff on here, man. We've also made some vegetarian haggis. That's right. Vegetarian haggis, some scones, some scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs. I roasted my own coffee. We can post that.
Boom.
And coming soon, I'm going to cook the cashew nuts. They come off the cashew fruit, and they have the thick shell on it. I'm going to roast those up and grab some footage to share with the fam scallions out there.
Man, how much stuff, man. So much content. All the content, dude. HB, I think we got to send a shout out to Aquilino. Aquilino was his birthday yesterday.
That's true.
So, Aquilino, if you're watching this, man, happy birthday.
We
hope you're having a good weekend.
We hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for always being part of the fam scallion now that NFL is over. Also, I want to send a shout out to Captain Andy Eftimiadis is tuned in. He's got some things here. He's like, my initial comic exposure was at the little newsstand at the Balboa train station.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So he's listening in, and he says, hey, let's do a show at Cascadas. He's got a bed and breakfast in Balboa that he's willing to host our Cooking with Rapscallions. He says the first dish can be Johnny Mazzetti, the essential Canal Zone comfort food, Johnny Mazzetti. If you haven't heard about it, you'll hear about it soon. We'll get cooking on that.
I like it. Dude, that sounds really good, man. That sounds really good.
Well,
I like having some Johnny Mazzetti.
It's time to It's time to stop being mild-mannered rapscallions and become super-powered rapscallions and start
Okay.
talking about DC. Where do we start? I mean, there's how many years of history is there, Joe?
There is too much history, man. I think similar to Marvel Comics, we start off around the 30s, the late 30s, early 40s. Just before we kick in, HB, I think we really need to give the people a disclaimer that there is just so much information and there are so many comic book characters and so many things that happened in DC Comics that it's going to be impossible for HB and I to cover all these things today.
Right. We're gonna do kind of like a global view. Joe's the expert here. I'm along for the ride. We're gonna have lots of fun. I'll be here for comedic relief.
I can live up to that, HB. So just so everybody knows, man, we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about comics. Give us your thoughts on comics.
Tell us who your favorite superhero is.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Who your favorite superhero is? We got comics for. I remember the first time I bought. I think probably the first time I bought comic books. I remember when I was a kid, growing up in the States. There's this pharmacy in Miami called Eckerd's. I don't think it's around anymore. And I remember going there. We go there on Sundays after we go to mass, after we go to church. We go to Eckerd's, and they had the spinning thing. You know, the spinning thing where the comic books were And that's where I
has the sunglasses on. It's like a spinning.
Yeah.
China.
And that's where I would get my comic books initially. Of course, then my love for comic books grew, and then I started going to comic book stores, and official retailers of comic book paraphernalia.
Wonderful. I love it. I think the shop in Albrook, right next to the bowling alley, there was an arcade there, and then there was a little like convenience store that had the same thing. It had that revolving vine on it. That was kind of like where I got my exposure. And then I think Grant Morrison had comic books.
For sure, Grant Morrison.
Rochas, but they didn't bring. It wasn't like consistent. So
yeah. Well, now they bring them in Spanish, which I find crazy, because I think now in Gran Morrison you can find comic books in Spanish and in Arrocha as well. And before, Sanborn's and Multiplaza, I don't know if they're still open or not, but I know they used to get comic books. First it was in English, and then they started getting them in Spanish. And I was kind of like, I want to read them in English. So I was disappointed.
Looks like
anyways,
we got a dip in the internet here. If you guys can, there we go. Coming back. Okay. So yeah, I mean, comic books in Panama. I mean, back when I was growing up, my dad ended up getting me the subscriptions, like we mentioned in the Marvel show
episode. Yeah.
So yeah. And if I had to choose, I would say that I'm full on Marvel, and I was fanboying. In preparation for the show, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make fun of DC because I'm Marvel. And then I started doing the research. Joe and I started doing the research, and I was like, hey man, DC is pretty cool. I had to take a second look and check my Marvel pride.
Yeah, dude.
I did pick up some of those. So you see the comic books. I never really got into the DC side of it, but the Batman animated show was really super.
Oh yeah. From the 90s, no doubt.
The Batman the movie. I mean, I grew up with Superman, Christopher Reeves. So just doing that research really opened up a big can of nostalgia.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think superheroes are something that have always been around us. And at one point or another in our lives, even if we don't like them now, we must have heard about one or the other.
Absolutely. Oh, Captain Andy's chiming in. He says his favorite was Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock. That sounds so familiar. Was he He was Marvel? Yeah, I think so. Wasn't he? Yeah. Oh wait, no, he was DC.
Who was?
Sergeant Rock. I don't think I ever read Sergeant Rock.
I know he was.
Frank John Rock.
He was tough.
He was super tough, man. Just looking at a picture of him now, he's like super tough. Like he could beat anybody up. Sergeant Rock. Yeah, man. All right, let's kick off, man. Oh, he first appeared in 1959. By the way, we'll talk about years and stuff later on.
We got a second Sergeant Rock fan. Safety Solutions Panama. Let us know your name, brother. You can be part of the Fam Scallions too.
True that. We're all about safety and solutions.
DC. Yeah. DC. Yeah.
All right.
You know, the fam scallions chiming in. Anyone else out there want to let us know who their favorite is? We're going to start on the history. Take us in the
Let's
Wayback
do
Machine,
it.
Joe.
I'll take us back, HB, all the way to 1934, man, because we got to talk about this guy. His name was Major Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson, man, and he was an entrepreneur, and he founded the National Allied Publications in 1934, right? And this was going to be just a comic book publishing company. They would later become DC Comics. So their first issue or their first comic book that they ever published was called New Fun, the Big Comic Magazine, #1.
I want to
And
interject here. Joe.
Go.
Just to put some context in it, before the new in New Fun comes from the fact that comic books in the past were just reprinting the strips out of the newspaper. So this guy, what made him such a great entrepreneur was that he was publishing new comics, and
That's right.
therefore the New Fun.
That's right. Can you imagine how that must have been? I mean, so simple, right? You're just like, I'm not going to reprint comics. I'm gonna do original ones. And boom,
It blew up.
it blew up, man. It blew up. Now you got to make like a new TikTok or something.
Right.
How crazy. So anyways, man, Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson, he kicked this thing off. And, you know, they were first sort of like, it wasn't so much with the superhero things back in the day, but they had anthology series, which were like, you know, the funnies and the Western comics, because people like the cowboys and stuff and adventure related movies. And there was even a character called Dr. Occult, who is still currently around today. He was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in December 1935. And they were the same people that created Superman. So that's pretty cool, you know.
So that what year? That was in what, 39 or something like that?
That was in 1935, my friend. Can you imagine what life was like in 1935?
Yeah, the world was different. Like you said, there's a lot of Western comics, and then
Anthology, like
also,
funnies, like talking animals and stuff.
Yeah, and sci-fi type stuff, like
Yeah.
Rogers type stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until 1938 when we can say that the golden age of comics officially started, which is when Superman came in Action Comics #1. By this time, the company was now called Detective Comics. So Detective Comics would later be known as DC Comics that we know today, but Detective Comics was the name of the company, and they published Action Comics, and then Superman appeared for the first time. And Superman was super popular.
I read that like by the third issue, they'd sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, and this was something that had never been seen before. So I guess people were just like, whoa. And I don't know if maybe it had to do something with, you know, I think around that time the U.S. was about to enter the Second World War, or just before entering the Second World War. So I guess people were still looking towards, you know, this sort of, maybe towards a sort of character that sort of defined all of those good things. Because you've always seen images of Superman kind of holding the American flag or with an eagle on his hand, on his arm, you know. So he kind of represented all that was good in the world, which I guess is what the Allied forces represented in the Second World War.
Sure, man. Well, we got some more chime-ins. Panama Screens. My favorite is Shazam. Looks like a lot of the fam scallions there are also entrepreneurs of their own. They have several companies.
That's right. All you guys are superheroes.
Thanks for chiming in, Ralphie. Your entrepreneurs are also superheroes.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
In business, man.
Totally, man. So HB, we're moving. It's like we're still in the 30s, right? 1939, 1941, and you know, Detective Comics and its sister company, All American Publications, they start introducing more superheroes, man. You get Batman coming in. So Batman comes in Detective Comics #27, which was in 1939, and that was the first appearance of Batman. Batman, of course, being created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and Batman will become the star of the title. And Detective Comics is, I think, they're still writing it to this day. It is purely about Batman. And I think in 2007 there was an auction, and you know for how much that Detective Comics #27 sold?
I didn't want to guess, dude, because I complained when they went from $1 to $2. You know,
it was sold for over $1 million.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you had one of those? You must cry yourself to sleep every night thinking about it, man. Seriously, man.
I cry myself to sleep anyway, but yes, I was upset about the loss of that comic. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, HB. I wish I had it too. But yeah, man, the 30s and 40s, it was like for superheroes, man. You had Batman, Robin came up in the 1940s. Of course, everybody knows Batman's sidekick. He was billed as a sensational character find of the 1940s. You had Wonder Woman come out. You had The Flash. You had Green Lantern, Dr. Fate, the Atom, Hawkman, Green Arrow,
Hawkman.
all these guys. Hawkman, man. Hawkman. Hawk.
We got another shout out. Here. Dilcia is tuned in. She says Wonder Woman is my girl. She always has been ever since I was little. My dad and I would watch the TV show with Linda Carter. Oh, Linda Carter. She was amazing. She was the quintessential Wonder Woman. No one, I like the new Gal Gadot ones, but for me, it's Linda Carter.
Was Linda Carter? I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984. Did Linda Carter make an appearance in it or not? You can tell me. I don't mind.
Oh gosh, if she does, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that dumpster fire.
Hey man, Linda Carter was the shiznit, man. She was a great Wonder Woman. Hey, and Wonder Woman again. I think she's the trinity of the characters. DC Comics they call the Trinity, which is their top characters, and those are Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The top three, and I guess you could tell because they were the ones that appeared in Superman: Dawn of Justice a couple of years ago. So all essential characters to the company. But HB, one funny thing that you probably don't know is that during this time period, even though they had all these amazing characters, you know who the best-selling superhero of that era was, of the 30s and 40s?
I do not.
It was Captain Marvel, aka Shazam.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Shazam.
Shazam sold 1.4 million copies per issue, and it was published bi-weekly to capitalize on his popularity, man. That's
incredible. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
In my research, I did, part of the things that gave me nostalgia is like it was called Supermania. Superman was so popular that he would like tell kids to eat their veggies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, he was like a role model, how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to do this. And it was called Supermania. And then I did see something about Shazam. I think the thing that really, the market, the market share that, really liked it was Shazam is a little boy, right? He's a little kid.
Yeah.
It's a magic word and he becomes a powerful adult. And that's right. I think that resonates with anyone who's not an adult yet. I wish I could say Shazam and be a kid again.
Totally. Totally, man. Totally. And I think it's just incredible because did you see the Shazam movie?
I did. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a fun movie, man. So yeah, Shazam, back in the day, one of the more popular DC superheroes. And I guess if you talk to people about him right now, before the movie, maybe a lot of people wouldn't even know who he was. They'd be like, who's this Shazam guy? I remember even when I was young, I really wanted a Superman action figure. And my parents went to it was before I left for the States, so it must have been Felix B. Maduro. And they couldn't find Superman. So they bought me a Shazam action figure. And I was like, who's this? I wanted Superman, not Shazam.
The secondhand
Superman looking fool. But anyways, now I love it. I know I have that action figure still somewhere. So I gotta find that guy, man. But listen, let me tell you something, HP. One of the things that I think is really interesting about DC Comics is that in the 40s, right, you had all these characters like Green Lantern, Hawkman, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash. They were all members of the Justice Society of America. Okay, so these were all like superheroes which, according to the history, they fought during World War II, right? So this was a super popular superhero group before the Justice League of America. And there's actually a Justice Society of America cartoon coming out soon.
Oh, cool.
I think it's like a movie. The DC animated films that they do. They're doing one on the Justice Society.
I think the first animated, the Max Fleischer series was the first animated superhero. It was the same guy who wrote for Betty Boop. He did the animation for Betty Boop.
Right.
They approached. They wanted to do an animated series based on Superman, and if you
Uh-huh.
watch, these things are incredible, man. So Paramount approaches Max Fleischer, and so they're like, dude, we don't want to do this. So they gave them like this astronomical number to produce it, because they were like, we want them to say no, right?
Yeah.
So that Paramount's like, okay, we agree, and these guys are like, holy cow, they have all this money to produce this cartoon.
Mm.
And I urge all you guys to look up those Max Fleischer cartoons. They're incredibly animated, and the cinematography behind them is way ahead of its time.
Yeah. Is it on YouTube? Because maybe we could post a link later on for the Fam Scallions on our Facebook.
I'll take a look, and we'll send that to the research department.
Man, but let me tell you, HB, the Justice Society of America, I love the Justice Society of America. I love Golden Age superheroes. And here you had totally different versions of the Flash that we know today, of the Green Lantern that we know today. And it felt something, when I was younger, felt that it was a much more genuine time, I guess, when these heroes were around. So like, say the Golden Age Flash, he looks something like, Mercury from Roman mythology.
He had like a dog bowl on his head.
Yeah, exactly, with the wings. With the wings. and you had Green Lantern, who was this guy who almost died in a train crash, Alan Scott, and he found a mystical lantern which gave him these powers to be the Green Lantern. So all these super cool superheroes, right?
Yeah.
That existed at the same time as Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you would see Superman, Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman, the ones that we currently know, as being much younger than these Golden Age heroes. And that's something that we're going to touch on later, because DC's continuity is all over the place, man.
Yeah. You can't keep track of that. We're not even going to try.
It is all over the place. Okay. So, in 1951, the Justice Society of America, they stopped having adventures, and we're going to talk about that later on. And another new team came up, but I think the way that they fix this is by saying that the Justice Society of America existed in an alternate reality, in another Earth that was separate to the Earth that we know, which was inhabited by Superman, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman.
The old alternate universe gag.
Exactly. Which is the way that I guess they figured, because the thing was, none of these writers were paying attention to continuity. Right. None of these writers were paying any attention to who did what and when they did it, So you're like, wait a minute, how did Superman fight the Nazis in World War II? Yet when I see him now, he appears to be in his early 30s.
Yeah.
He's
from another planet. Hey, we've got another shout out here. I'm going to need your DC Comics knowledge to help me out with this one. Ralph Furlong says Ultraman tried to get into DC, but the U.S. did not let Ultraman in because it was Japanese in the late 70s. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Ultraman from the jet, like Ultraman, the karate fighting giant.
He was a giant robot, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't know he tried to get into DC Comics, man.
I didn't know that either.
That's crazy, Ralph.
DC Comics. So Detective Comics.
Yeah. Well, DC Comics. It was just Detective Comics. But then they changed the name to just DC Comics, and now they're just DC Comics.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So that basically HB. I mean,
universe.
Very quickly, that took us through the sort of golden age of superheroes, which is when all of these heroes that we all know and love today initially popped up. I mean, as time progressed, they went through massive changes.
Yes. So you had the golden age was World War II, and like you mentioned earlier, it became super popular because they were shipping comic books to all the soldiers who were overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that I saw was like 60% of all the paper that was shipped to bases was comic books for the people, for the soldiers to entertain themselves.
Yeah.
So then you have the winding down of the golden age as World War II ended. People are coming back home, and some people theorize that those comic books reminded the soldiers of being back in war, so they didn't want to deal with that. Brought back bad memories.
Huh.
And so then something interesting happened in the 50s.
Right.
So there was a psychologist who published a book, and I lost that page. His name, he published a book called let's see, the Seduction of the Innocent by Dr. Wortham in
I've heard of that book.
1953.
Yeah.
And he proposed in there that all these things, with the slowdown of comic books, they started going back to cowboys, and they started like horror comics and stuff like that.
Like Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt, yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone, and then this guy comes out with this book saying that that it's leading young children to be delinquents. So that was in the 50s, and then everyone went crazy. They had people in front of Congress, in front of testifying and stuff.
Like no more comic books and stuff.
No more comic books, and then people were like burning comic books, and I just wanted to relate the irony. I felt that was a huge irony that we spent so many years in a war against a country, that was a fascist country that was burning books, only to fall into the same trap during the 50s of burning comic books. Any type of creative oppression, I think, is a big no-no. But that was in the 50s. Everything kind of slowed down as far as comic books were concerned, and so the comic book editors came together and they created the Comic Code Authority.
Right.
They censored themselves, so there was certain things that you couldn't do in comic books.
They were like, we got to keep it clean.
Got to keep it clean, and then they kind of went on from the extreme of like dead heads and blood on the cover to super squeaky clean, like boring, stupid comics. Might be an overgeneralization, but you kind of from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Just so, and then the comic book industry was hurting.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. And then what happened, dog?
Well, there was they tried to relaunch DC comic books, at least. What was the name of the editor we were talking about earlier?
Julius Schwartz.
Julius Schwartz. They're like, we need to do something because the comic book industry is getting watered down. It's kind of sucky. So hey, Julius, it's up to you.
Make it happen.
Light the fire again. So he's like, oh, all right. So he grabbed his guys and he started firing people, and he grabbed them, and he grabbed the young artist, and he's like, there's no way you can do as bad as the guy that I just fired. So he told him he's like, you're in charge of the Flash now. So that's where before, this guy was hit by a train or something. I don't know. Everything was like mystical powers.
Yeah, true that.
Magic related.
Yeah.
Now we're in the 50s, the atomic era. So the new Flash, the guy decided, this guy is a police
forensics expert. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's there in front of his chemicals and stuff, and lightning strikes his laboratory. Boom. And these chemicals come on him, and he's like, oh my God, he doesn't know what to do. And then he has a date with his gal. So then he's running towards a cab, and all of a sudden he's running past the cab, and he's like, well, he doesn't know what's happening to him. So this was kind of the introduction of the science change, the scientific transmogrification of human into alter ego instead of mystical magic.
Right. Yeah, because you're right. Most of the heroes, if not all the heroes from the 40s and the 30s, they were all mystical in some way, right? Like we talked about,
or they were aliens.
And we talked about how Green Lantern found this mystical Green Lantern, and then he became Green Lantern. And then the new Green Lantern from the 50s, Hal Jordan, he was actually the part of this. Yeah, he was like a fighter pilot, like, I'm not scared of anything. And he was like given his ring by this dying alien who was part of a large intergalactic force.
police force, like a
Police force, yeah.
tick police force. And the dying alien's like, take my ring.
Uh,
Boom. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, man. That'd be pretty tight. I wish I could meet a dying alien who gave me a ring, which let me do everything I wanted.
Indeed.
That'd be cool. I would do so much. I would. But it says you need a lot of willpower. So then part of me thinks like, yo, what if you don't have the willpower? What if right now you're like, I do have the willpower, and then you jump off your balcony, but then your willpower is not strong enough to make you fly, and then you just die.
You know what took a lot of willpower, Joe?
What's that?
Watching the Green Lantern movie.
True that, man.
That was tough.
Rap fest.
I think Ryan Reynolds has played like 18 different superheroes.
Yeah, I think so. He finally found the one that fits though with Deadpool.
Indeed.
So good for him. Good for Ryan.
Way to go. He's had the willpower. He's like the little train that could. He's like,
Yeah, I think I can.
He kept going until he found his way. That's an important life lesson, I think.
Hey, true that, man. And you know what's funny is that the Flash in this, I think the artist that you were referring to earlier, I think his name was Jack. Hold on, I have his name here somewhere, man, because this guy's like a big deal, and I want to make sure I say his name correctly. I think it's Joe Kubert, sorry, and Carmine Infantino. They were like they were the ones that worked on that comic book in 1956, which had the Flash, and it showed the Flash, which is Barry Allen, not Jay Garrick, who was the original Flash, running out of like a film. Like he was running so fast, HB, that he was running out of film.
I don't understand. How do you do that?
Because he's so fast. That's what the cover was. Flash running out of a film strip. He's just running out of it.
That's incredible. And they changed his outfit too. They took the dog tray off his
dog tray. Yeah,
he had a little metal hat, and they gave him like a super streamlined outfit. His futuristic
that he wore. He kept it in his ring. Right, it was like super tiny, and whenever it was like flash time, he had a ring, and the suit would pop out of the ring, and he would like just change into it and run super fast.
I was looking over that comic where he first made his appearance, and then so some of the drawing was like when he's discovering that he's super fast, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to go to this date, and he goes into the restaurant, and a waitress trips, and all the food starts flying, and he's like looking around. There's like French fries here, and then he does this, and we see it all the time, right? Whenever someone's super fast, they go and they get the coffee and recatch they grab the coffee cup and recatch it. I think that's where that trope started, was in that initial.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And to think that now we have the technology in films to be able to see that, which is why we all have to see Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max, 18th of March. It's going to be 4 episodes because the original movie, HBO, was 4 hours long.
I'll watch it, dude.
I'm going to watch it.
Times, man.
It's pandemic times. Got to watch it, man. But, so HB, let me tell you something. Just going back really quickly to the Golden Age. So then Jay Garrick, man, the original Flash, he appeared alongside Barry Allen, which was a Silver Age Flash, in Flash 123. This came out in 1961. And that was when they established that the Justice Society actually existed on Earth 2, with the Justice League, all of our younger heroes, actually living in Earth 1.
Earth 1.
So then, and they could like visit each other because there was some sort of like vibrational sort of portal that they could kind of vibrate through or whatever. So this set up the stage.
It's called a galactic retcon event.
So they could like vibrate through it and be like, I want to visit my buddy, Golden Age Flash. Vibrate, and he'd make it there and he'd see him.
Yeah. Wow.
So this created a mess later on. But before we do that, I would like to show an example of something first, because we know Panama's everywhere, and I want you guys to see where Panama was with the Justice League in the 50s. So first I gotta say Shazam so that I can get the strength to lift this book because it's very heavy.
Wow. Incredible superpowers.
Check it out.
This was a ton of book.
This was the Justice League from the Silver Age, 1950s. And I got to show you guys something, man, because the Justice League, they were fighting this dude, man, who wanted to divide them up so that he could defeat them, man. So he had them all do different tasks. So Martian Manhunter and Aquaman got paired together to go and combat this evil person. And I want you guys to see where they went, man. I want you guys to see where they went.
Let's check this out.
Check that out, man.
Let's see. You got to put it up some.
Wait. Hold on. I'm holding it wrong. Hold on. Let me.
Say Shazam again there.
Shazam.
There, look. Okay, in the orange frame, right underneath that. That's the Panama Canal. God damn it!
That's right, man. They went to the Panama Canal.
Did they charge Aquaman passage?
I think it was only like 50 cents or something. You know, it was cheap back then.
Yeah.
It was super cheap. So they went to the Panama
They
Canal.
didn't weigh the whale, did they? The whale that he was riding on?
No, they were like, you're a superhero, so you get special superhero fees and discounts.
Ah, cool.
So there you go, man. So the Silver Age, man, a lot of things started happening in the Silver Age. And you know what also became really popular in the Silver Age? Superhero sidekicks.
Truth.
Superhero sidekicks, man. So Batman had Robin. Aquaman had Aqualad.
I didn't know about Aqualad.
Yeah, dude, Aqualad. He's pretty crazy. Well, no, I mean, initially, all these new sidekicks were just like younger versions of the superheroes that they were sidekicking it with.
Like Superboy and Super Dog and Super Pup.
But the thing is, Superman, it wasn't until later, because the Superboy initially was Superman.
Okay.
And he grew up into Superman. But then later on, they added a Superboy. But this was more like in the 90s. They added a Superboy who could hang out with Superman. So he'd have his own sort of like sidekick. And then he had Krypto the Superdog and Supergirl.
Okay.
Supergirl came along. But you had Green Arrow, who was like, say, Hawkeye, but for the DC universe. He had a sidekick called Speedy. Speedy was also an archer. And then you had Wonder Woman. She had Wonder Girl, who was also a sidekick. You know,
She had like an invisible Vespa.
She did. She couldn't fly though because she couldn't get her pilot's license in time.
She's too young.
That's right. So you had all these sidekicks coming through, and of course these sidekicks then also formed their own team called the Teen Titans.
Oh yeah.
And then these
Teen Titans went back that far. That was a surprise to me.
Man, the Teen Titans go back crazy far, crazy far, because they all had to hang out somehow. You know, they couldn't just like kick it with their.
It's like it's like the little kids table. You know, like the big.
Exactly.
They're like, no, you can't come on this adventure. Go sit over there. And they're like, we're gonna start our own society, the Teen Titans,
and have our own adventures. And then of course, Flash had Kid Flash.
Kid Flash.
Who
They
was
called me when I was in high school.
because you were so fast.
Fast, man.
What? So who was your Flash? Did you have a Flash?
I didn't have a Flash.
You were just you, and your origin was just like that, a Flash. You were doing some forensics chemical stuff, and then lightning hit. And
It's true.
so yeah, man, it was crazy times.
I was eating a raspado, and it melted so fast I got hit by lightning. Boom!
Right.
Super speed.
Oh snap! That's special, dog.
Yeah.
No wonder you were like the best running back in the whole of the Canal Zone.
Ever. See if I get any comments from Ralph about that one.
I heard you were so fast that nobody could catch you. Not even Ralph. That he chased you. He chased you all the time, but he was like, HB's too fast.
Too fast.
So, you know, with all these sidekicks, man, you know what happens when you have sidekicks, man? Because these are all teenagers, and teenagers are going through difficult times in their lives. HB. They're going through difficult times. So there was a very controversial episode of Green Arrow. Green Arrow and Green Lantern used to kick it all the time because, you know, they like to wear green. So they have adventures together.
They went to the same postura, the same tela. The same guy made their outfits because they had.
Yeah, because
it was like, hey, Flash, I got some extra green fabric. You want
to use it? And then there was an episode where Green Arrow catches Speedy using cocaine. Dog.
Yeah. And he's like, Speedy, you're a junkie?
That's right. And he's all there like,
he's all like, and you know, that's a very important, and that was on the cover.
I was on the cover. It was on the freaking cover.
The reason why that's monumental is because of the comics code authority, you weren't allowed to mention drug use.
Nope.
Period. But Green Lantern, these two sidekicks, Verde, Green and Green,
Mhm.
Green Arrow and the Green Lantern, they also did. They would go across the country, like trying to investigate the social ills, because that was also the equal rights movement.
That's right.
So I remember when doing this research that there was like a little old black guy goes up to the Green Lantern. He's like, Mr. Lantern, I always see that you're off in outer space helping people all over the universe, but what have you ever done for a black man? And it's like powerful. So DC decided to use Green Lantern as an avatar for the audience to try and educate them on the cause of equal rights.
And Green Arrow as well. He went Oliver Queen. Many people have seen the Arrow series, but earlier I guess in the Arrow series, he doesn't really display this that much, but he was pretty much like a social champion through that period of the 70s. He was like the people's champion. He was like The Rock. He was like The Rock before The Rock.
Another one where it was like this what do they call the guys that the mob slumlords? This slumlord was like trying to kick people out of the building. So one of the tenants pushes him, and Green Lantern's like, "Hey, you can't do that," and takes him off to jail. And
right.
then Green Arrow's like, "What do you think you just did? You did the wrong thing. Look, that little old lady, that kid was her only source of income." And then and Green Lantern's like, "Well, I didn't know. I thought I was doing the right thing." He's like, "You got to think. What is this guy? He's going to kick everyone out of the building and knock the building down and put a shopping mall there. What are they going to do now?" So it was like this, the two of them arguing with each other in different situations to try and bring social justice and the movement into the common people reading it. So
just to like help the audience understand, because comic books are so much more than just fluff. It's not just like, oh yeah, great, Superman lifted a building and that's it.
Right? Yeah. If you think about it, it's exposure. It's exposure. Like, where do people get their value sets? I remember, when I was a little kid, it's like, you always have to do the right thing. Like Spider-Man, no matter what situation he's in, he ends up trying to do the right thing.
That's right. With great power comes great responsibility. So, we all have power and we have to use it responsibly.
Can you say the Green Lantern's motto, or do you know that one?
In blackest day and darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Boom!
Wow. That was incredible. I didn't think you had it in you, but
I didn't think I had it in me either, but it was there, man, all those years.
That was very impressive. Hey,
it's in my head.
You, man. That was amazing.
Thanks, man. I even used to have a little Green Lantern ring when I was younger. I got a Green Lantern action figure, Hal Jordan. And it came with one of these, how they used to have like glow in the dark that you would like charge it with light and then it would glow in the dark. So I would always like be charging it in the light in my room and then turn the lights off and it just be jumping around like I'm Green Lantern.
I think that's the only DC comic that I actually kept up with was Green Lantern.
Green Lantern?
Because I never read Superman, I never read Batman, but as far as TV shows, there was the Superman black and white from the 60s.
Yeah.
And then the Max Fleischer ones. My cousin, his parents, I guess, were a big fan of Superman, so he had all those on VHS. We watched those things over and over again, faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah. And for Superman was Sorry? Go ahead.
What really resonated for me was the Superman black and white shows and the cartoons and stuff. So I've always been a fan of the animated series and whatnot.
And I think, and it's incredible because I think in today's day and age, there's so many different animated series and they're all collected in, like, you can go on Netflix and find so many animated series. You can go on Disney Plus and find so many animated series. It's incredible. Whereas when you were younger, at least, when we were in the era of Betamax and VHS, if you didn't have it videotaped, you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
The research department came back and they said that you can find they have some of them are remastered in 4K. They're made in 1941. So we'll post some of those to see if you guys will enjoy those. The animation, in my opinion, is pretty spectacular.
Totally, man. Totally. I mean, I think it definitely is worth a trip back in time to see how things used to be back in the day, man. HP, I gotta tell you now. So remember how there's all these Earths going around, right? You got Earth 2, you got Earth 1, Earth whatever, all that stuff. Because DC was not stingy with its Earths. It would create Earths for all of its needs. So then an event happened in the 80s, which with the sole purpose, HB, of bringing all these Earths together into one single reality. One single reality. And this was called Crisis on Infinite Earths. All right. So there was
how many Earths were there? It was like just however many they needed.
However many they needed, man. I think from what I've been reading, they were just kind of like, well, whatever. Like, let's just say they live on Earth 526.
Wow.
So that creates a lot of continuity issues, man. Yeah. So, you have these two very talented guys, George Perez, Marv Wolfman. They were like, hey, we need to sort this out and create a single unified DC universe. So in 1982, they created this character called the Anti-Monitor, who was this guy called the Monitor's evil counterpart. The Monitor was sort of like this guy who, if my memory serves me correctly, he was kind of like the Watcher in Marvel Comics, who would just kind of,
and they're observing and taking notes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Making sure. So then this guy was like, screw these guys. I am going to destroy all these Earths. So then the Monitor, he's like, man, I got to get heroes from all the multiverses, to like help me out and stuff. But then he gets murdered.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then Brainiac shows up. Brainiac, who everybody will know is a Superman villain. And he's all like, yo, villains, come and help me so we can conquer all these remaining Earths and be like super awesome. But that wasn't going to happen because this other superhero called the Spectre, he's like, yo, superheroes, yo, supervillains, we got to work together to defeat this guy. If not, it's all going to go to crap. So then eventually the superheroes win, but there are several losses, man, because the original Supergirl, Zor-El, Superman's cousin,
Kara Zor-El.
She
My sister's
died.
name is Kara. Does that mean I'm a Superman?
No, because you're not a cousin.
Oh.
So her cousin is Superman. Who's your cousin?
Kara Tui. No.
Kara's your sister. Who's your cousin?
But none of them are named Zor-El.
Okay, fine. You can be Superman then.
All right.
You can be Superman.
Uh-oh. Looks like we have a super dip in internet, as usual, around this time during the show. Cable Onda takes a break on providing continuous internet. So I'll just keep talking. We lost Joe. We're gonna keep going talking about super. One of the things that we missed was the Batman show in the 60s. The bam, bow, boom.
True that.
Yeah, we had a little dip there, so I took that opportunity to talk about the Batman TV show. I remember watching that, and
yes,
I didn't know what how cheesy it was because I was so young,
It was just fabulous. It was like an adventure. I loved it. I remember watching the reruns thinking, man, this is great.
It is. The Batusi. You got to do the Batusi.
Yeah, man. Adam West and Burt Ward were just kicking butt. And plus you had Cesar Romero as the Joker, I think.
Joker. And that was the first Latin American lead. I mean, he killed it. That's everyone can say Jack Nicholson, but Jack Nicholson based his on Cesar Romero's Joker from the Batman series.
You had Eartha Kitt, who was playing Catwoman. Again, you had like a woman of color playing a really, really big role in the 60s, which was whoa. And then you had other great characters, such as I think Burgess Meredith played the...
You know who Burgess Meredith is? That's the guy from Rocky. The penguin.
Mick.
Is Mick from Rocky.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
You bum.
Yeah, bum. He also did several episodes of The Twilight Zone. Some of my favorites.
Weird.
Yeah.
When did he died in 1997. Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, dude. Oh, he was in Clash of the Titans as well. I didn't know that.
Oh, I don't remember that. You guys got to check out. What was the name of the guys from the Batman series? Burt Ward. What were the name of the two actors? Adam West.
Adam West and Burt Ward.
You gotta read some of these stories because
Oh my gosh.
yeah, this guy was like a big pimp, man. Like Adam West was going around like, and just women were just falling all over him, and he's like, "Hey, Robin, come to the party," and the guy's like super innocent, like, "Oh no, I don't know if I can do that," and Adam West is like, "Don't worry about it, man." He was living the playboy life as Batman, which is when we look at it now, they look kind of effeminate in their little tights and whatnot. But that guy was living his best life, playboy life, a life of excess. So I guess he was really like Bruce Wayne. Adam West was like Bruce Wayne. He was a playboy.
Right back.
Oh, you're back. You're back. The internet's still sucking though.
Talk about the pimps.
Let me do a little test here. Cable Onda, we want to give you the award for best DC villain.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Ruining
Your
spectacular show.
super villain name is Intermitencia, where you give us intermittent internet connection and just kind of puts a kink in our superhero show today.
Inspiration, man. You were talking about Burt Ward and Adam West being super pimps.
Yeah, Adam West, like the stories that have come out about his shenanigans. He really was Bruce Wayne. He was living that playboy life.
He was, man. And I'm surprised that Burt Ward as Robin was as well.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. Like he kind of got indoctrinated into that lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I can't do this. Burt Ward's like, come on, Robin, you can do it.
Yeah. Stop being such a little wimp. And he was like, okay.
He's like, all right, that's the cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, but that was a good show. I remember watching it. I enjoyed it several times, and then I remember I even got a book about it, but it didn't talk about their sexual exploits, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, let's post some. I think there were some interviews that had some of those stories in it that are just off the wall, man.
Are they still alive? Both of them are alive, right? Or did Adam West pass away?
Adam West passed away.
Oh, that sucks, man. Oh well, yeah, but he was Batman. Hey, and Adam West, I'm sure many people would not know who Batman is. Yeah, 2017. 2017. But yeah, so epic show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Check it out. They had movies too. I think they had one movie or two movies. And one of them, Batman whipped out the shark spray, which he used to spray on a shark, which was trying to eat his leg.
Amazing.
Incredible. Scientific.
Every time I go diving, I take shark spray with me.
Of course, man. You spray it on your water, it works wonders.
But that was fun. It was a fun show, and that's
It was.
They're trying to go big, and it was super popular. Against all expectations, super popular, and it's an icon.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
But HP, let me take you back to the Crisis on Infinite Earth.
All the Earths and the Earths, you come together.
They were trying to fix this problem. So, they did it. The heroes won. We talked about Kara Zor-El, the original first Supergirl. She died, and Barry Allen also died. The Flash, the Silver Age Flash. He basically ran himself out of existence, man. He just he was running, and then you just had a skeleton.
Really? He ran out of his flesh?
That's so they say that he died. He would eventually come back because he came back. DC brought back a lot of their characters at different points. They always do. But people thought that but he just went into the Speed Force. So then he died because then that was another thing DC did. They said the Speed Force unites all the speedsters. So then, like Jay Garrick, the original Flash, Barry Allen, the Flash, Wally West, who was Kid Flash, becomes the Flash after Barry Allen's death. So, a lot of changes occurred going into the 90s for DC Comics. Mad changes. Mad changes. And there weren't going to be, and again, we're just doing like a skim, guys, because we only got 2 hours. We only got 2 hours.
Are we going to talk about like the motion pictures that came out?
Yeah, we could talk about the motion pictures, man. Drop it.
Because 1978 or 79,
Superman
came out. Wow. That was huge. I remember that was everywhere.
Yeah. I remember seeing Superman. I think the one I remember the most is the one where he fought that guy.
That guy, Superman 4, the blonde guy?
A blonde guy. That's like Rocky 4. Superman 4 for me is like Rocky 4 because they both have to beat this like amazingly powerful character. But I don't remember what happened in Superman 1, 2, or 3. I remember there's one where he gives up his powers so that he and Lois Lane can get it on.
I think that was part 2. And then General Korn or Krang or whatever his name was gets out of prison.
Zod?
Yeah, Zod gets out of prison with the creep. She was super hot. I was like so scared of her when I was a kid.
Right?
The evil.
I
was scared, and then I loved her. And then the big guy, the big strong guy, and then they fought all over New York City, and then or Metropolis, which is like what, Chicago, I think. And then
I think so.
She throws a manhole, and it catches him right in the stomach, and he's like, yeah, that was Superman 2, and then Superman 3 was Lex Luthor, and for comedic
Pryor that one, right?
Richard Pryor, man.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Richard Pryor, man. And then which was the last one?
I don't know. I think 4 was like really like. I think it was just awful.
That one didn't do so well, did it?
It didn't do so well.
Was that the one with all the nuclear missiles and stuff?
Exactly. They tried to make it. They wanted to do one. They're like, what are we going to do it about? So I think Christopher Reeve was like, I have to do something about the craziness of nuclear weapons. So it was just like,
man, Christopher Reeve. Remember how crazy it was when he fell off a horse and became paralyzed?
Yeah, that was sad.
That was very sad because for me he was Superman. For me, nothing could break him, man. Yeah.
Then what? After that was in the 70s, and then late 80s, early 90s was Batman, I believe.
Was Batman, dude? When you had Batman with the first Batman, Michael Keaton,
Jack Nicholson.
Joker, Jack Nicholson. Yeah, I remember I had a Batman poster. My parents bought me a Batman poster that I kept in my room, and I was so scared of that poster when I put it up because the eyes would follow you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I didn't want it up anymore. I put it up, and then I started crying. And my mom was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Batman's following me around the room." And she was like,
"That's funny." I remember that movie was everywhere. It was so publicized. And I remember also the Batman, the movie video game on Sega Genesis was like,
right.
Oh, you had to get that one.
Mm-hmm. And then they followed up with Batman Returns, which was again another blockbuster. I mean, the Bat and the Cat. You know, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman, Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I think that movie still holds up today. I could watch it. It's like a Christmas movie, man.
Yeah, I need to revisit it just to watch Michelle Pfeiffer. She was great.
She was great, man. That was an epic film. Yeah. And plus you had, Christopher Walken.
That guy's always creepy. Love him.
Always creepy. Then you had Batman Forever, which is the tune I put today. Kiss from a Rose, Seal. I think, who hasn't heard that song?
The whole album was good. It had U2 on it.
Yes. Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me.
Yeah. Very energetic song.
Yes.
We were talking about that. Let us know in the comments if you want to see a show about movie soundtracks.
Because we could totally do a show on movie soundtracks, man. They had a song by Method Man called The Riddler, which was
that's right.
Epic. During that time when that movie came out, my family and I were moving to Arizona from Miami. So my dad he was like, we're going to drive. So my dad was driving a U-Haul truck with all of our stuff. My mom and my sister were in another car, and my brother and I were in another car. My brother was driving. And the Batman Forever soundtrack was one of the cassettes that like was almost always in the cassette deck during that
It's
time, man.
jammed in there.
Yeah, dude.
You're not listening to anything else but this.
No. Totally. It was epic. And then, of course, Batman Forever was followed up by Batman and Robin, which was kind of like, meh.
I like Val Kilmer's Batman. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He did good. I was super amped as well that they brought in Robin as Chris O'Donnell in the movie too. I was like, Robin's been missing from these films. I'm a huge Robin fan, so I was really happy to see him.
I don't understand. Like there was a big controversy over the bat nipples.
But that was in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Like who cares?
Yeah, who cares, man? Or then when they were getting dressed and you saw like the bat butt.
Bat butt. He like stuck it out like Flanders in The Simpsons. But
oh my gosh,
I enjoyed those, even though they were just awful movies. I watched them. I've seen them several times. And Jim Carrey as the Riddler, I thought was great.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure. And Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, come on, talk about two epic actors.
Yeah,
putting in like insane performances.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I've seen it several times. And Mr. Freeze, it's like they just wrote him lines just like temperature for tomorrow freezing.
Yeah,
it was so ridiculous. It was
one-liners, zingers.
Yeah, I'm going to
everybody freeze.
Everybody freeze. Those are great, dude. They're so awful. It was like schlocky.
Yeah. And you had Alicia Silverstone with whatever it was that was going on with her lip during that time. And she was like, hey, I'm bad girl. Come on.
Yeah.
And you know, Robin's costume, his outfit in Batman Robin was actually based on his Nightwing costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because his Nightwing costume would have basically been that costume without the cape and with like a blue sort of bird instead of the red.
Right. You're right. I just looked up top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners from Batman and Robin.
Which is the first one?
The Iceman cometh. Number 2 is, you're not sending me to the cooler. Stay cool, bird boy.
Stay cool, bird.
Here it is. All right, everyone. Chill.
Chill, that's the one. All right, everyone. Of course, because chill was a word kids used back in the day.
That's right. Cool party. Oh, this one's good. Allow me to break the ice. Tonight, hell freezes over.
Oh my gosh. That is insane.
Ice. That was fun.
Why would they ever cast him as Mr. Freeze? Unless you were trying to make a campy film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because he's not anything like Mr. Freeze from the comic books.
No, they could have cast. I heard once there were rumors of Patrick Stewart being cast as Mr. Freeze. That would have been pretty great. He would have been a smart Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
You could have believed, due to his acting skill, that he was longing to be with his wife again.
Exactly, because he's a tragic character.
That's right. Not a buffoon.
They went for the schlock and they got the schlock. I mean,
well, I guess Arnold was very popular during that time.
Super popular. And his one-liners, I'd be back. So they needed someone that could. They're like, hey, let's get Arnold. It's the coke-fueled 90s.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll get Arnold Schwarzenegger in here and just fill him full of one-liners.
Yeah, one of them will stick.
Yeah. So, anyway, I liked it. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure I think I have them on DVD somewhere.
Has there been any other DC comic movies that have been worthy of putting in the same category as Batman and Superman
during the 90s? At
all? I mean,
well, I guess the newer Batman, the Christopher Nolan ones are pretty good.
That's right. Yeah, how could I forget that? Those are very well done.
Let's not forget about Bane. I want to talk a bit about Bane later on. Bane and Batman and Robin was terrible. But yeah, they did him more. Like they did him. Tom Hardy played him better in
Do you have? Can you? One of my friends was writing me last night on Instagram. He's like, "What time do you guys start?" Because I asked him, "What's your favorite character?" And he said Bane. I was like, "Dude, Joe's favorite is Bane too. You guys can have a Bane off." Do we have any
Bane.
shout outs on Insta?
No shout outs on Insta, my friend.
I don't know if Chris was able to tune in. Anyway, shout out to Chris. He recorded a voice recording of his version of Bane. Very impressive. I don't have the technology to play that here now, but
Dude.
anyway, yeah.
Dude, Bane is a badass. Starting from there, man. This guy is like a Latin crime boss, super smart. There's a storyline in Batman called Nightfall. This happened after the death of Superman.
Talked about that yet?
We haven't talked about that yet. So let's talk about the death of Superman after we talk about Bane, since we started talking about Bane already. So Bane was like, I'm gonna break Batman. All right. So what did Bane do? Since he's so smart, he released every single one of the prisoners in Arkham Asylum. Every single one of them. So then Batman's like, crap, man, I gotta take all these guys down because I can't have them running around my city. And of course, you know, Bane, he has the venom, right? That he and then injects to his brain, it makes him super strong, but not like an idiot like the one in Batman and Robin, but more like I guess more similar to the Christopher Nolan one. Except the Christopher Nolan one was not Latin. I mean, he should have been more like a Hispanic type of cat.
Oh,
but anyway,
not an Englishman.
Not an Englishman. No, not an Englishman. So Bane releases all these guys. So Batman's super tired, man. And I remember reading these things vividly in the comics because Batman has to take them all down. You know, some of the worst psychopaths that he's ever come across in Batman comics. And he has Robin, you know, but Robin, at this time, the Robin was Tim Drake. You know, he was like trying to help him out, but you know, Robin's also got his own things coming on, this and that, whatever. And then ultimately, when Batman is at his most tired, and Alfred's like, "Yo, Master Wayne, you got to take a break. You know, you're burning both candles, man. Like seriously, you're only one man because remember, Batman's human." He's like, "No, Alfred, I got to do it. I got to do it." So Superman is in the Batcave, and he's all like, "I'm so tired, I can't take this anymore." And guess who shows up at the Batcave?
Superman.
Bane, dog. Bane shows up. Man, they go at it. They're like, pop, pop. They're fighting, but Batman's just so tired, so emotionally drained from everything that's happened. And then Bane just like picks him up in the air. He's like, meh. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to break you so you can see what happens. And he brings him down, crack on his knee. And you see Batman's body just go like it breaks. And then he just throws him. And then he's like, go F yourself. And then he leaves.
Wow.
And he leaves Batman there broken. Kind of like what happened in the movie to a certain extent. Right. So he leaves Batman there broken. And I was like, yo, that's pretty insane because Batman's not supposed to be broken. You know, Batman's supposed to be like.
Yeah, even though he's human, he's invincible. You know, he's got that determination.
That's right.
Dollars.
But Bane, like, he tired him. He tired him down until he couldn't anymore. And then during this time, Bruce Wayne had met this kid called John Paul Valley, who was this like religious vigilante called Azrael. Uh-huh. And he was like, I need someone to replace me as Batman while I get better. So he tells John Paul, he's like, dude, I want you to be Batman. And then Tim Drake, the Robin's like, yo, I'm not sure if I agree with this, Batman. And then he hadn't even considered calling Nightwing because he was like, Nightwing's his own man now. He doesn't want to come back to be Batman. But anyways, Nightwing and Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne have always had this weird relationship, this weird father-son relationship where it's like, do you love me? Do you hate me? What are we? You know? Anyways, so he picks Jean Paul Valley to be Batman. So what happens to him? At first, he's like, cool, I'm Batman. But then his religious sort of, because he came from this weird, freaky religious background, the Order of St. Dumas, which had like controlled him in his mind.
Batman or the new guy?
The new guy. Because Bruce Wayne during this time is trying to rehabilitate himself. And then this guy was supposed to be a stand-in Batman. So he goes crazy. He starts developing this armor, this Batman armor that he wears to go out and kick the crap out of people. He has claws and stuff. And then he kills one of the villains. And then Bruce Wayne comes back like, yo, You shouldn't be doing this. So then they have a fight. Pop, 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 pop. And then Bruce Wayne comes back as Batman. And then Bruce Wayne's all like, yo, I'm not ready to come back as Batman. I still need to get some of my stuff in order. So then he calls Nightwing and he says, Nightwing, would you like to be Batman? And then Nightwing's like, all right, I'll be Batman. So then Dick Grayson, so he becomes Batman for a little bit. And then Tim Drake, the original Robin. And then Tim Drake, the current Robin, he's all like, yeah, this is a good decision. So then they hang out and they do good things, And then Bruce Wayne comes back and then all is well. But this was the 90s. This was
but then he comes back to be Batman, and then Dick Grayson becomes Red Wing.
Nightwing.
Oh,
Nightwing. He goes back to being Nightwing.
We got another shout out. My sister's tuned into the YouTube. Kara McGirt. What's Supergirl's name?
Kara Zor-El.
Kara Zor-El. So for Halloween, you better be Supergirl, Kara.
That's right.
Thanks for tuning in. You got to tell us who your favorite superhero is. All right,
what's
next? Oh, we got to talk about the death of Superman. You mentioned that.
Right. That's right, man. The death of Superman. The death of Superman was a massive publicity stunt, HB. Huge publicity stunt. Because, comic book sales were dwindling in the early 90s. Not that many people were reading comic books. And people were like, hey, how can we boost sales? And they were like, let's kill Superman. Because let's see if people care.
Right.
Let's see if people care.
Try and get them, try and get them back on and remind them how important Superman is.
That's right. So they were like, let's see if people care. We're going to kill Superman. So this was a huge event because, of course, Superman fought this guy called Doomsday, who was like this massive destructing machine that also came from Krypton. So Doomsday came to planet Earth, and he starts tearing his way. He's like in the middle of the U.S. somewhere, and he sees these screens in a department store, and they're saying like something about Metropolis. So in his head, he's all like, oh, Metropolis. I must get to Metropolis. So he's like, boom. He starts getting toward, he wants to go to Metropolis because of what he saw on this television.
He's like, destroying everything, right?
Sorry?
Is he destroying stuff along the way?
He's destroying everything. He's just like kicking the crap out of everybody in his path. He's just like, boom, blowing this up, boom, blowing that up. So then the Justice League gets a hold of this, and they're like, yo, we got to go and take this guy out. So at this point in the Justice League, you had Superman, who was one of the heavy hitters, but he wasn't around for some reason when they met him initially. You had this guy called Bloodwind. You had Guy Gardner, who was the Green Lantern at the time. Bloodwind. He was just
Stinky Farts, Bloodwind.
Yeah. No, he was like supposed to be. He was like a super strong mystical type of dude. But I don't really. But there was something freaky, weird about him. I don't remember what it was. Let's see if the research department can.
We get the research department.
Tell us.
I do. I remember that event, and it was exactly like a publicity event because someone leaked it, and everyone's talking about it.
Right.
And I'm like, my aunt and uncle and my dad are like, "Do you want us to get you a copy of that?" I was like, "No, man, DC sucks."
I don't want that. I don't want that.
It's Superman.
I don't want that. Stupid. I want
snotty that. Kid.
Hey. Hey, so listen, man. Doomsday kicked the crap out of the Justice League. You know, he kicked the crap out of Bloodwind. He kicked the crap out of Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. He kicked the crap out of this Ice woman. He kicked the crap out of this other woman called Fire, who was like the Human Torch, but a woman, and she was green. He kicked the crap out of Booster Gold, and he kicked the crap out of Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was like Batman in a sense. So just a regular dude who could fight really well. And he went up against this massive, indestructible, and Doomsday like demolished him. Like he ended up in the hospital like for months and months and months and months and months. So eventually Superman got there and he's like, yo, I'm gonna handle this. You know,
he didn't have shit.
They handled each other because then after getting to Metropolis, they both kicked the crap out of each other and they both died. So when Superman number 70,
was it like Rocky 2 where they punch each other and then they end the movie?
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So when Superman died, I remember going to the comic book store with my brother and my mother and my sister because we'd all go.
You were like sad and shit, huh?
Huh?
You were like super sad?
Super sad. Super sad. Hey, I got like 5 copies of the Death of Superman because I wanted to get.
You get an armband.
Yeah. It was super nice. It came in a black bag with like the Superman logo in red with blood. Inside there was like a black armband with the Superman logo, and it had some like other amazing stuff. And here you are thinking like, man, Superman's dead. This is gonna be worth thousands of dollars. So we bought several copies.
Yeah.
Thinking we'd be sitting on a gold mine. Now I think last time we looked at it, it's worth like what, $10?
Yeah, we looked at it a few weeks ago. But speaking of those armbands, when Stan Lee died, they put a black armband on Superman's statue as a tribute.
Well, yeah, because Stan Lee was such an influential figure, man.
Yeah.
You know, no matter where you look at it, he was like the man. Like you think Marvel Comics, you think Stan Lee. And I think that's one of those things that maybe DC Comics never had, was like a figure as influential as Stan Lee.
Right. There wasn't one unique figure at the company that people could associate with.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of creative folks, you know, plenty of creative artists and writers who did really wonderful things. But I mean, you think Marvel, you think Stan Lee. You think DC Comics, who do you think of?
I don't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, so Superman. So then they had the whole death of a friend, where they were all mourning Superman and so sad, Superman. Then they were like Return of the Supermen, where these 4 guys showed up pretending to be Superman. There we got Superboy once again, who was a clone. We had Steel, who was his dude who put on an armor, and he was like Iron Man but Superman. Then you had the Eradicator, and you had the Cyborg. Cyborg. And then none of them ended up being Superman HP, because Superman was inside of an egg, and the Eradicator was drawing his energies from there. And then he came back powerless in a super cool black suit, and he was like, "I gotta take care of business," and with long hair.
Long hair.
Yes, just like you. You are Superman.
I am Superman. I didn't know I don't have any DC shirts. I don't have any Marvel shirts either, but I put my blue shirt on because I wanted to be Superman in Kingdom Come. Because that's the one where has a gray beard.
And he's in a farm, and he's all like farming the lands. Like you.
He's like picking up a tractor in one hand, and he's got like all this fence posts in the other, and he's like doing his stuff. The artwork in those are amazing, though.
Yes, the Alex Ross Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Stories. Yeah.
Beautiful pictures. So I think in that one, all the new superheroes are kind of effing things up. They don't have any value. So Superman comes back and it's like, hey, you guys have to stand for something.
That's right. It's like Joe Biden. Joe Biden, when he came back, when he won the elections, he came back and he was like, hey, you guys, you young politicians.
You guys stand for something.
Stand up for something. You know what? Last time somebody was like, hey, doesn't Captain America, when he comes back really old at the end of Avengers Endgame, look like Joe Biden? I was like, yo.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Check it out. People can tell us if we're wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chime in what you think about that. The death of Superman was just boring.
Yeah, I think if he would have stayed dead, but then I think it just happens out. They kill everyone off and then they bring everybody back.
Yeah, I think everyone almost dies, and it's like they watch too many Mexican soap operas.
Yeah,
this is some good shit. Let's start killing people off, and then the evil twin brother comes back, and I don't know.
Yeah, man. And then you know what happened after all this stuff happened? DC decided to retcon their entire continuity once again, because during the Return of Superman, one of the evil Supermen destroyed Green Lantern Hal Jordan's town in California. So he went berserk bananas, and he ended up being like the embodiment of this evil creature called Parallax. And he was like, I'm gonna destroy time to bring back Coast City, which is where all my people lived.
Green Lantern did that?
Yeah, man. Hal Jordan.
God, they really jumped the shark, huh?
Hal Jordan, man. So he killed all the Green Lantern Corps. He killed all of them. He killed all of them. And then there was only one Green Lantern left. His name was Kyle Reiner. So while 0 Hour was going on, you had Parallax, who was the old Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. And then you had this other guy called Extant. And they were zipping around Extant. They were going around time, and they were just like messing with it, and they killed a bunch of people. Because, of course, in all these things, you have to kill people, right? Because, I mean, what good would it do if you don't kill anyone? So, they went to the Justice Society, who were like not super old for some reason, and they made some of them super old again, or they made them back in their young age. They killed a bunch of people. They merged all of Hawkman's timelines so that there would only be one Hawkman and not like a Hawkman and a Hawkwoman and a Hawk baby and a Hawk girl. Yes. So they all merged into one single Hawkman. The women and the men became one Hawkman.
So is Space Ghost and Birdman, are they part of the DC universe, or are they just a separate Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
They're a separate Hanna-Barbera cartoon. But I enjoyed it very much,
man, because I like the intros, like Birdman.
But did he have any superpowers other than just having a bird suit?
I don't think so.
Huh.
He's just a regular dude
who just flew around.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'd be scared if I had a bird suit.
Well, we haven't even touched on the ridiculousness of Aquaman yet. That's always fun.
We haven't. And Aquaman's also been through a lot of crap, my friend. Really? Aquaman has been through some stuff.
What are the origins of Aquaman? Let's talk about this so we can make fun of it.
Let's talk about Aquaman. I think he's very similar to Namor the Submariner.
Namor first. We identified that in our Marvel episode.
That's right. So Aquaman first appeared in 1941. So again, he appeared way back.
Original. He's one of the originals.
Yeah. So I think from what I can understand about Aquaman is that his father was like an undersea explorer type of cat.
Oh, I thought he was Poseidon.
His mother. His mother was the one that was like underwater royalty.
Oh, okay. Or are they Atlanteans or no?
I think so. All these underwater people are Atlanteans.
Yeah, they're all Atlanteans.
I mean, they don't discriminate. Yeah. City of Atlantis, dog. City of Atlantis. So, I mean, at first, Aquaman, it was pretty ridiculous because you couldn't really include Aquaman in your adventures unless there was some sort of like underwater element to it.
On land, can he do anything on land?
I mean, I would assume that on land he still has his like super strength.
So he's strong. He's not super strong. He's just like
well, no. I mean, from what I can see, he's super strong. He has durability, endurance. He's fast. Not as fast as like the fast people, but I guess he's fast. He's agile, has good reflexes, his senses and stuff. He can then underwater telepathic control. His trident, which he can like.
Hippos are related to whales. Maybe he could like talk to hippos.
Are hippos related to whales?
I think so. Their closest relative is whales.
Maybe he'll go to Africa, and he'll be like.
Hippos are super destructive, man.
Oh, true that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to ask.
Like we always think of hippos with those flat teeth, It's because they saw them off because those guys will fuck you up, man.
Yeah, I don't want to meet a hippo in the wild, dude.
They will tear you up.
That's a fact. But Aquaman in the 90s as well, my friend, because in the 90s, everybody went through some sort of radical change. Because why would it be the 90s if you didn't go through some sort of radical change, right?
So go dark and gritty, right?
Exactly. So at some point, Aquaman is the clean cut blonde dude who's all like, I'm so carefree.
Scaly orange shirt.
So at some point in the 90s, he lost a hand.
Well, oh yeah, they put a hook on him. They grew out a beard. Grown.
And he became super badass. He's all like, I'm Aquaman, and I'm in a bad.
Turned into a fishy Punisher.
Pretty much. And he was all like, I hate everyone. Blah, 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 blah. And then at some point or another, his hand came back, and
He's like a chameleon or something or a lizard where the stuff grows back.
I know that he had like a water hand once. Like he got rid of the hook, and then he had like a water hand, but it wasn't a regular hook. It wasn't a regular hook. He could shoot his hook,
Really?
so he could like.
Was there like a little tendon or something that attached to it and he could repel with it or what?
Yeah, like a rope.
Wow.
So it was like a batarang, like an aquamarang,
Okay.
something like that, man.
He
So he
didn't
was-
like Sushi Night at the Justice League.
He didn't what? Sorry.
He didn't like Sushi Night at the Justice League.
I mean, no. I think he eats fish. He knows he has to eat just because he can talk to him. But I don't know if he can like talk to him, or just like tell him to do stuff.
Do his bidding.
Yeah, like he controls them.
What if there was like a fish in the villain's lair? Could he then like eavesdrop on him?
I think so. So maybe he can see through the fish's eyes, but they don't tell him like, "Oh, Aquaman, this morning I felt pretty sad."
See, he just doesn't care. He uses the fish. That's quite an oppressive power.
I think so. I'm trying to see if I can find out what his relationship is like with these fish, because I know that he's had fish and chips in the past because I've seen him eating them in comics.
I can't believe
But yeah. So hold on, let me see. Because I think he just controls them. But what does Aquaman do with fish? I'm googling that. Let's see.
it. Sounds awful.
Yeah. So does Aquaman eat fish? Yeah. Yeah.
So weird.
So
I think that's
I
weird.
mean, yeah, because see, okay, check it out. Fish and other forms of lower marine life don't have mental capability for direct communication. So he can't talk to them. So he mentally forces his will on sea creatures.
This guy's, you know what? I made fun of him before, but now I'm going to make more fun of him because he's just a mean guy.
And those are his he's like their king.
So he just oppresses his subjects. He doesn't even talk to them. They're like, "Hey, Aquaman, I need help. There's a trawler, a longliner out, and it's killing my whole family." He's like, it's not even listening.
No, because he doesn't talk to them. He persuades them. So that's the thing. He persuades them. And it says Aquaman can control alligators and crocodiles.
Oh, well, there you go. He's
That's
on
pretty
land. He can have some crocs.
Yeah.
I think I'd
Yeah.
take hippo first. Hippos seem more fun than a crocodile.
See, it's with whales and dolphins. Apparently, because they're more self-aware, right? But he can telepathically communicate with them like he can with all marine life. So I guess he can maybe ask the dolphin, like, "Hey, dolphin, do you want to help me?" And then the dolphin will be like, "No." He'll be like, he'll be like, "Okay, I guess I'll get that tuna to do it."
Right? Okay. So what did you think of Moa Aquaman?
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. At first, I was a bit like, "Yo," but you know what? I think they tried to make him be like the Thor of the DC universe.
Right.
Because that's what he seemed like to me.
It was very colorful. That's what stood out to me most. It was very colorful. I kind of like that because it's like comics, right?
Yeah, and
But the whole story was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
No, and all the DC movies have been dark. So this one was much more colorful, and I think he was also full of catchphrases as well, kind of like saying things like, "Bleh," I don't remember what he said now, but he was just like a
Fish got your tongue.
yeah, something like that. But he was just kind of like a surfer bro. He was like, "Hey, bro, yeah, bro."
The reluctant hero. They have to convince him that he's really wonderful, and it's like, ugh.
And he's like, "Oh, I gotta do it." Yeah. So I mean, I enjoyed it. I think. But then again, I enjoyed Superman. I've enjoyed all the Supermans. I think the thing that I've enjoyed the least from was the whole like when Batman was beating the crap out of Superman, which was an homage to the Dark Knight from the Frank Miller one from the 80s.
Right. He had the fists.
And he's all like,
fists
Martha.
kryptonite.
Yeah. and he's all like Martha, because both their moms' names is Martha, and so then he was like Martha,
Yeah.
and then I was like,
What about the earlier? There's a earlier Superman Returns. Kevin Spacey is Lex Luthor.
yeah, I don't remember that. I remember I went to see that one at the movies, and I fell asleep.
Yeah, they weren't bad per se. They just weren't very good.
I think he was Brandon Routh, who you can still see on Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, and he makes appearances all over the place.
Yeah. He was trying to be Christopher Reeve. It feels like Superman Returns was a continuation of the Christopher Reeve movies, or trying to be a continuation of the Christopher
Well,
Reeve
that's the
movies.
thing. Is like I think that's the problem with it. It didn't have its own identity because it's Superman Returns.
Yeah.
It's gone. So maybe it is a continuity. Maybe it's not. There was no clear definition on what it was trying to be.
No.
It kind of fell flat.
And the whole thing about Superman having a baby with Lois Lane, I really didn't like that.
Yeah.
It really annoyed me.
And I thought he was a good Superman.
Yeah, I think if he would have been given the opportunity to be like his own sort of, it feels like they were like, you're Christopher Reeve.
Right. Be like him. We want you to be like him, but not like him. And he's like, well,
yeah, exactly.
What's the name of the new Superman guy?
Henry Cavill.
That guy's
Or Henry Cavill.
I like him.
Yeah, me too, man. Supposedly he was gonna appear at the end of Shazam. At the end of Shazam when they were like at the lunchroom, but I think scheduling conflicts or something, so then he couldn't appear to have lunch with them.
Mustache issues.
Yeah, that's stupid, man.
Yeah.
That's stupid. For Justice League, they had to like. Come on, man. Come on.
Did you see where he showed up in Mission Impossible?
I have it on my list on Netflix. I want to watch it because it's on Netflix now.
That movie was actually really good, dude.
Was it?
It's one of the best Mission Impossibles. Excellent storyline, excellent execution. I was engaged the whole time, and this guy comes in kicking butt, dude.
Does he have like a major role in it? Is he the main villain?
Just watch.
Okay.
You'll enjoy
Right.
it. It's well done. That's I think that's like I was watching it. I was like, I've seen all the other ones. Might as well watch this one, and I was glued to it. I was like, this is good, man.
Right.
Yeah, they did a good job on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. There hasn't been any other Mission Impossibles done after that one, right?
I don't think so.
No.
I better check because there's like 80 of them.
Yeah, but I like now is that there's more of a team than before. I think when they started the Mission Impossible movies in the 90s, it was all about Tom Cruise.
Well,
but I think
that's one of the major criticisms was that the original Mission Impossible in the 60s was about the teamwork.
Yeah.
That's what made it great. Like you had your bomb expert, your other expert, and they worked as a team to get the thing done, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they're finally getting back to that.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and I think those interactions really help the movies out a lot. But yeah, I think Henry Cavill is a good Superman. I really enjoy him as a Superman. Yeah, I enjoyed his movies, man. I thought they were cool.
Mission Impossible Fallout. Okay. Is that the one? Or I'm probably thinking of the wrong one. Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation is the one that was really good.
Was that the one with Jeremy Renner?
God, I'm getting confused. Anyway, I think Fallout is the one that I really liked. I'm gonna watch it tonight too. I'm gonna put that on my list.
You should put it on your list, man. You should put it on your list. All right, we're getting off track, my friend. We have 20 minutes.
It's true. Sorry.
So we talked about 0 Hour, Parallax, tried to restart the universe. Of course, we know that he failed, but not before making all of the superheroes suffer somehow, some way.
Right. Okay.
Then again in 2005, 2006, there was the Infinite Crisis, which wanted to establish a new multiverse. So the Infinite Crisis was a follow-up to Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Wait. So you brought them together, and then they're gonna re-Earth.
Re-Earth. Because I guess that gives you more space for storytelling.
All right.
I guess it makes sense. And then in 2011, there was a reboot called The New 52. So this was a DC Universe reboot that coincided with, the cancellation of a lot of the ongoing titles. They were rebooted, and this was set after the conclusion of a storyline called Flashpoint. So in Flashpoint, Flash goes back in time, Barry Allen, because they brought him back to life. He goes back in time to save his mom from being murdered because his dad was wrongly accused and imprisoned because of her murder.
Yeah. They did a good job of that on the show.
The Flash show was so good. Yes. And they bring in Jay Garrick as well, the Golden Age Flash. He's on there.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I was a little upset that they didn't use him as the Flash in Justice League or whatever.
Oh yeah. But you know what they did last time? They actually had Ezra Miller. He appeared for a brief moment in the Flash TV show because apparently the Flash TV show is in an alternate universe.
Of course. Earth 52.
Yes.
So confusing.
Super confusing. So they rebooted it, all these characters from scratch, from zero, from a more sort of current timeline. Like instead of World War II, it was the Gulf War. And instead of, those types of things. So it was more like, so that new readers could be like, oh, I remember the Gulf War. Because think about it. Somebody who was born in 1999, somebody who was born in 1990, or they'd be like, Second World War.
What? No, yeah, like they're retreading the stories, but shoehorning in current events.
Exactly. So the New 52 did that. And then when they did that, they also did like a separate Earth, which is where they put all like the Golden Age characters. So there was like a younger Jay Garrick, who was the Flash. There was a younger Hawk girl, who was the only Hawk person there. There was a younger Green Lantern who was gay. There was, all those types of things. So they really tried to like sort that out over there. But that didn't really last for long. That lasted for like a year or something. And then once again, they merged everything together again, which is one of the things that I think about comic books, which is really weird and confusing. Because when I started reading comic books, I was always like, man, these comic book characters grow with me.
Yeah.
But they don't.
No? What's that about?
Because they're always constantly being rebooted.
Okay.
It's
very confusing. Very confusing. I dropped Green Lantern because there was Green Lantern Corps, and then you had Alien Green Lantern. It's very confusing, and I just stopped. Gave up.
And this was so in 2016, DC had a thing called Rebirth, which was where they rebooted all these cats before reintroducing concepts from the pre-Flashpoint continuity, which was legacy stuff that didn't exist during New 52.
Wow, that's so confusing.
So you're just going back.
I got a question. You followed all of this?
No, I didn't. This is all stuff that I've come to learn.
You come to learn. So what was your main DC, your go-tos? What did you follow religiously?
That's the thing. When I moved back to Panama, it was very hard because I couldn't get the comics with as much frequency as I used to get them. So there was a long time where I would get whatever I found in Arrocha.
Right.
Which wasn't always consistent or constant, right?
Well, what did you then when you lived in Miami then?
What did I follow when I lived in Miami? I followed so much HB. Really? DC only? Yes. Yes.
So name your top 10 then. Just
from DC.
Lightning. Yeah. Lightning round questions. What's your top 10?
Nightwing was probably at the top. I know I bought Nightwing consistently every month. Robin as well. And then the other ones were just kind of depending on what was going on at the time in the comic book.
Yeah. So you were just following all these different threads.
Yeah.
Whatever piqued your interest, you'd buy that one.
Yeah.
Or follow that one.
I was always kind of keeping an eye on all of them. Like I had but like say with Batman, I was always more a fan of Nightwing and Robin. So I would always try and follow whatever they were doing. I really like the Justice League. I really like the Justice Society. Yeah. So if something came out for them, I would buy that.
The Justice League, and then they brought back the Justice Society?
The Justice Society is still active now.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
even though these were the guys that were supposedly the ones fighting in World War II. Um, so it's just all very
Are the people involved in the Justice Society the same as the Justice League?
no. So the Justice Society is the original Flash, the original Green Lantern. They have Shazam, they have Hourman, they have the Atom, they have Dr. Fate. So you have these people. And then in the Justice League, you have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the second Green Lantern, the second Flash, Cyborg. So they're never the same people. Though, if you look at the continuity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman were members of the Justice Society in the 1940s.
Right.
It's all just very confusing. Continuity and time zones.
Okay. And how's the Justice Society, the Justice League, how do they compare and contrast to the Super Friends?
The Super Friends are the most badass of them all
That's the one I watched.
because they had the Wonder Twins.
The Wonder Twins, and the best was watching that in Spanish. Que los poderes de los gemelos fantásticos actívense. Un pájaro, un pedazo de hielo. I got one of the Wonder Twins right here in my cooler.
I never understood, man. I think the girl always lucked out. She got the best powers of that because she could actually become creatures.
She's like, I'm a giant ape.
Yeah.
Guy's like, I'm some form of ice. It's
Yes.
a bucket of ice. Where'd the bucket come from?
I think once he became an ice giant, that was pretty tight. But for the most part, he was always some sort of inanimate object who couldn't really do much.
So he was limited to things related to water, right?
I think so. But they weren't canon. They were never in the Marvel universe, in the DC universe, sorry.
And there was the monkey, right? What was the name of it? It was a space.
There was a space monkey who hung out with them.
Yeah. That was a very integral part of my youth is watching that. I remember
that was a great show.
He would always do the Super Twin thing.
Yeah, man. The Super Friends was amazing, man. I remember watching that all the time.
And they lived in the Hall of Justice. I remember
they lived in the Hall of Justice. Yeah, that was cool, man. That was fun. I really like that. I wish they would bring that show back.
Yeah. Well, would you make it campy like then or try to make it a little more?
I don't know. That's the thing. Because now have you seen Teen Titans Go?
I haven't.
You should watch it. It is amazing. I love
it. Is it as good as Batman animated series?
The thing is, it's campy. It's super campy.
All right.
So it's totally different. Totally different.
There was some of those episodes on the animated series. One of my favorite episodes was he was fighting Arnold Wesker, the ventriloquist.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to make a movie, I would make it about that episode.
The thing is, sorry, go ahead.
Because he has this struggle with his ventriloquist dummy, Scarface.
Right. The thing is, the storytelling on Batman animated series was like very much like the comics. Like it was super true to the comic book.
Yeah.
It was serious, yet it was directed at kids. And the setting, which appeared to be like Gotham in the 1950s for some reason, or even though it was the 90s, they still drove cars like in the 50s.
Yeah, it was a kind of mixed reality.
Yeah. Whereas Teen Titans Go is just for fun.
All right,
it's a very witty, sort of smart, fun show where they do ridiculous things, but it's in the DC universe. I didn't think I was gonna like it, and then I started watching it one night, and I was like, "This is amazing."
Okay, I'll check it out.
It's amazing. I totally recommend. Totally.
But
there's
like
so many
Star Trek Lower Decks where it's like super goofy. It's about the people who work. Instead of Captain Kirk and these guys, the guys in the background.
That who you never see. I've never seen that one. Star Trek Lower Deck.
Yeah, it's all right.
Where's it on?
I don't know. I watch it on places where it should go unnamed. What was the one? There was an animated series where it's old Batman. It's in the super future.
Oh, Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond. That one was always pretty good. I like that.
Batman Beyond was cool. Yeah, the take on Bruce Wayne there being more like, this old retired guy, and then he meets Terry McGinnis, who's the Batman of like the future. Yeah, that one was pretty tight. That was cool. That one's also been made into a comic book, and it's been brought into the continuity that DC Comics.
I always felt like they kind of just abandoned it.
No. It's been brought in, and and it is recognized as proper like Batman canon, which is pretty cool. What I still don't know, and if anybody can tell me, I would love it, is what happened to Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or Jason Todd for that matter. Oh, that's also another important thing that we forgot to talk about, HB.
What?
When
Oh.
the Joker killed the second Robin.
That he turned into like vigilante or something like that. What was his?
He became the second Robin when he was brought back to life, Jason Todd. He became Red Hood. This is his logo. This is his logo. But when he died, when he got killed, people didn't like Jason Todd, man. Because Jason Todd was seen as like, first he was like a copy paste of Dick Grayson. So then the writers made him be a bit more like annoying. And then he went off to face the Joker alone. And DC Comics at the time in the 80s, they actually set up a phone number and they said, if you want him to die, call this number. If you want him to live, call this number. And more people called for him to die.
Holy cow.
Yes. So then the Joker beat the crap out of Jason Todd and then left him to die in this warehouse. And it blew up. And so Batman showed up too
That's
late.
kind of like what they did in the Nolan movies, right?
How? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly. So then Batman showed up too late, and then there's an epic image of Batman holding Robin's body, and Robin's all like dead. And so then because of that, Batman became much darker. He was like, I gotta kill Joker. So Superman had to actually step in to stop him at the end of that storyline. And then that led us to Tim Drake, the third Robin, finding out Batman's identity somehow, and then him wanting to convince Dick Grayson to go back to being Robin to balance out Batman, because it was always that Robin balanced out Batman, right? Because Batman was dark and Robin kind of made him not so dark.
He was
and
a
then
reason.
Yeah. And then Dick Grayson was like, nah, man, I can't go do that. That's my youth. And so then Tim Drake was like, I'm going to become Robin. And so then just him going on his journey to train and to become Robin. And because if you think about it, it's pretty, I mean, I guess they try to paint it as a way. I remember reading it, and it wouldn't just be like, you're HB, right? And you meet Batman, and you're like, Batman, I'm going to be Robin. And he's like, all right, man. And then that's it, you're kicking ass. No, you have to go through like intense training.
Right. You just walk in and be like, hey, I'm the new Robin.
Yeah. And people are like, okay, dale pues.
Well, there was a, I think, I don't remember if it was in the Batman animated series or if it was a Superman one, which was also well done. The one where he loses Lois Lane and becomes a totalitarian Superman.
Oh my gosh. That is with there's a series called Injustice. I think it's called, yes, where he just loses.
And it wasn't really dark. It was more of a thought exercise. Like that's really what Watchmen was about, wasn't it? About what would it be like if Superman or superheroes really existed in our society? How would it be like? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I really like that episode.
If you think about it, being a superhero, especially a superhero like Superman, where you have so much power, it would be so much easier to do the wrong thing.
Well,
yeah,
that's what happened. It turns out that he can't save Lois, so he decides to take over. He's like, he gets rid of all the nuclear weapons. He gets rid of all the governments that are like
corrupt
governments and all the corrupt politicians, and he gets rid of all crime, and he ends up being a totalitarian, which is a frightening message, you know?
Yeah. I mean, but what would you do? I could see myself doing that.
Oh, I would totally be a super dictator.
I could see, because I'd be like, people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's good for them. We got to fix this.
These guys in the government that are stealing money from people who the food baskets. They're handing out food baskets, and these guys are like, oh, you got to give me $5 for this. What?
Yeah.
I would use my laser vision to chop that guy down.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that I wanted to mention is they had some. Well, we didn't talk about Neil Gaiman, and we talked a little bit about Sandman reboot. I started reading that. My friend Marcos Mislav, he gave me Sandman, and he gave me The Preacher, which I watched on TV.
Right.
And I can tell you, the TV version was pretty amazing, and they did a better job of introducing the Saint of Killers, which was just epic, dude.
Kelly loves the Sandman. She's a huge Sandman fan.
Yeah.
She's read all the graphic novels. And you know that the Sandman was actually a character, not this Sandman, this is a different Sandman.
Yeah.
The Justice Society had a Sandman in
Yeah.
the team back in the 40s.
In the 40s, right? Well,
Yeah.
what was do you know the original Sandman's powers?
I think it was sleep. It was sleep. He could put people to sleep.
Hmm.
Well, he was like a master detective and he could put people to sleep.
No, I can do that.
Yeah. You're the Sandman.
I'm the Sandman. So I lost my train of thought. The Neil Gaiman, those were great. And he did they gave it to him. They're like, you can do whatever you want with Sandman.
Yeah, and he totally made it his own.
Free reign, and he went a different direction. He made it less superhero-ish and more thought-provoking.
That's
whimsical.
right. Yeah. Very much in your thoughts, in your brain. Yeah, he took it totally from what it used to be, from what the Sandman used to be. I don't know if that Sandman from the Justice Society still exists in the DC universe. I think he does. But he also had sort of like sleep-based powers and stuff, and just like, you know, the Sandman. What does he do? He puts people to sleep.
Yeah. I'm halfway through Sandman series. Very entertaining. Him as a novelist, I really enjoyed. So diving into his graphic novels has been fun.
Yeah. I actually have his Norse mythology. I have his Norse mythology book that Neil Gaiman wrote. I haven't read it yet, though. Kelly read it.
I always liked it was a cemetery book. I can't remember the name of it, where the ghosts live in the cemetery and they try to help people out. That was very well done. Lots of fun.
Right. Oh, he's a good writer. Good writer.
And the preacher, going back to that one,
Preacher.
I think that this guy John Favreau, that guy's Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. They asked him, which comic book should we make a series out of? And he's like, you have to do Preacher. So they did a Preacher series on AMC, which I think the first 2 seasons were super epic, and then they kind of lost their way a little bit. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
A lot of fun. Well done. As you can see,
cool.
I strayed away from comic books and went more towards DC's televised and movie experiences.
Yeah, no, but nevertheless, man, it's still part of the DC universe, dog.
And like you said, we've got the Snyder Cut. A lot of things are coming out against Joss Whedon.
Yeah, man. Joss Whedon, yeah.
So they're talking about how, like you said earlier, this guy had envisioned a really long movie, and then they cut so much out of it that we got the cluster that we all watched.
That was Justice League, which was 2 hours or something. He said that they had even built in an intermission to his original Justice League. So this guy was like, you guys are going to come to the cinema for about 4 hours. So you guys are going to need to have a break.
Hey, cool, man. I'll do it.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to it, man. There's images of the Joker on there. Like a lot of things that we didn't get to see with the I mean, it would be interesting to be able to continue to explore the universe that he created, but who knows if that's going to happen. I would have loved to have seen Shazam somehow interact with his Justice League.
Did you see the new Harley Quinn movie?
Birds of Prey. No, I didn't see it. Was it good?
I saw it, and she does such a good job. She carries the whole movie, just being Harley Quinn. She's so magnetic, but the story is kind of crappy. What about the one where you were an extra?
That hasn't come out yet, man. The Suicide Squad.
So
it hasn't come out yet.
All of you out there who didn't know, this guy up here, Jose Mesquita, was a stand-in for which famous actor?
The Thinker. He's a Scottish actor, actually, I think. And his is hold on, I forgot his name now.
Your Scottish roots run deep.
Suicide. I know, seriously. I got to stand in for it. It's always calling me. It was Peter Capaldi.
He was one of the doctors, right?
Yeah. He has these. It was funny because every time I saw him, he had to wear he was always walking around. I got to shake his hand and be like, hey, how's it going? So I got to so he was always walking around with an umbrella because his character has these things that stick out of his head, right? So he had this umbrella with some shades, with some drapes around it. So I guess that people, because there were a lot of people you can imagine, right? We're filming in San Felipe. All these people are in these buildings and they're all filming and they're all taking pictures. So I guess just to keep his character a little bit under wraps as much as they could. So yeah, when you see the Justice League, I got to sit in for him a couple of times in different scenes.
Did you get to meet Idris?
I saw him from a distance, man. Idris is the bomb, dude.
Yeah.
And he just walks around. He just walks around like, hey,
I'm Idris Elba. I'm Idris Elba.
I know everything. This is my first time in Panama, but I know where everything is.
Cool.
Just this aura of confidence, man. Incredible.
That's what Rapscallions. We're taking on that aura of confidence.
No doubt.
We're at 5:02. Is there anything else we need to mention about the DC universe?
There's so much more, but yeah, we can talk about that. We can actually do an entire show just on one superhero and talk about their entire evolution, man. But I think we had fun covering what we did cover today, and that's what matters.
A lot of fun, yeah. I had fun making fun of Aquaman, which is one of my favorite activities.
And I think now, everyone knows that he doesn't talk to fish. He imposes his will upon them.
Yeah, he's just like a charismatic fishmonger.
That's right. He's just like, go kill yourself for me. And they're like, okay.
Roll yourself in some rice and seaweed.
And then let me eat you. Okay.
All right. Fishman.
Terrible.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. We went over so much information today. It was a lot of fun, and thank you guys for everyone for tuning in. Joe, can you give us words of wisdom?
I will give you the DC inspired words of wisdom. Hey, you don't have to be a Man of Steel or the world's greatest detective or an Amazonian princess to live your best life. The only thing you have to do to live your best life is be you. Follow your heart.
Yeah.
And do what's right. Because if you do what's wrong, then you're a sociopath. And nobody likes sociopaths. So be a friendly path. And do what's right.
Be good to the people.
Be good to the people.
All right. Fan Scallions, thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, we're here every Sunday. If you have some ideas for the show, drop us a line. If you have any questions, existential questions, send us a line like, hey, why is grass green? Why is the sky blue? The Rapscallions can answer those questions for you.
That's right.
And we'll give you words of wisdom, as you just heard.
That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful, calming words of wisdom. You don't have to be Superman. You just have to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind.
You are enough.
You are great. You're super. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Every Sunday, 3 p.m. Keep an eye out. We'll be posting some of those YouTube links that we mentioned during the show. There's lots of activities. And if you're a fan of music, you better not miss Joe's on-running music suggestions on Instagram. He's putting up some very fine tunes every day. I think I might have to crash the party. He's doing such a good job. I want to be part of that, Joe. Can I try and crash one of the parties?
You can, for sure, man. For sure. It's all about giving the people what they want.
We got to give the people what they want. Well, thank you, Joe. And thank you all. That wraps us up today, episode 34, DC Comics. And now, two superheroes are going to wrap the outro. Thanks for joining us. Next week, 3 p.m. Bye-bye.
J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo,
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
Rapscallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride.